Good morning, welcome all of you, Bande Matram. So this morning we are going to discuss a great topic that is on descent of supermind. It is really a unique topic. Just imagine how and when, where so many questions are put on the descent of supermind of course. So Sri Aurobindo, to all those queries, all those pursuits, and all those puzzles, only the answer is from Sri Aurobindo. How and when, where, like these questions will be answered only by Sri Aurobindo on the topic. Through this topic, the descent of supermind. Great topic really. It needs just you have to open your psychic if you really try to understand this great topic, the descent of supermind. So initially Sri Aurobindo quotes the inevitability. What is the real inevitability for the descent of the supermind? Sri Aurobindo quotes interestingly, the descent of the supramental is inevitable necessity in the logic of things, and therefore it is sure. The descent is sure, it is inevitable, and inevitable necessity also. There is no other go, it has to descend. Because people do not understand what the supermind really is. They don't realize, they don't know, because they are ordinary or ignorant. Simply, or some people are there, simply they have heard of the word supermind while either on the road, they have just this term has tossed their ear, or anyway because they don't have the deep idea. They are total most of the people are unaware, don't understand what the supermind really is, or realize the significance of the emergence of the consciousness in a world of inconscient. Here this world is packed with inconscient, and there they want to get the significant. They don't know, don't realize actually the significance of emergence of consciousness, while inside they are staying mostly inside the inconscient world, inconscient matter, and they are unable to realize the inevitability. Even if you express, even if you try to explain, even if you try to just say this is the things it is going to happen. So because they are staying in a of course subhuman mind almost, so ordinary consciousness, inconscient of matter, they are totally not able to understand, realize, or actually get the expression, get the touch of this term supermind, and inevitability very difficult for them to realize. Then of course Aurobindo quotes beautifully that it is actually the time of the unrelieved reign of inanimate matter and the earth's beginning would then be criticized, and the promise of emergence of life in the world of dead truth and rock and mineral is an absurdity and a chimera. They have got this feeling it is not going to happen anyway, it is not at all possible. That these people, ordinary people, they have the this is the idea of absurdity and the of course of chimera. It is the same now with the disappearance of supermind in the stumbling mortality of this world of human consciousness and the reasoning ignorance. So in the course, it is the same now in the appearance of the supermind in the stumbling mentality of the world of human consciousness. We are in the world of human consciousness, and inside the reasoning ignorance, this term seems almost a fake or a vector. Again, Sri Aurobindo goes one step forward to quote beautifully: "If the supramental descent is decreed, if Sri Aurobindo quote starts the sentence with if the supramental descent is decreed, nothing can prevent it. Whatever may be, initially you may find some resistance, some strife, because the lower force they don't want to welcome or even to take to give place, let place for this supramental descent. There must be initially some strife will be there, some of course class will be there, but actually it can't prevent because it's how its power, so-called their power, and of course their influence, it is very much limited, because descent of the supramental, it's a penetration, and it's of course its attack, it is to be so vehement that the ground and the ground pressure and the resistance and the strife, it is very much limited to prevent the advent. But all things are worked on, are worked out here through a play of forces and unfavorable atmosphere or condition of the delay, even when they can't prevent. So it is there, it is decreed, it may be delayed. The baser forces, the baser minds, they may be in a process, they may bring some resistance, but finally they can prevent, because it is inevitable, it is decreed, this supramental descent. Even when the thing is destined, after decreed and inevitable, here now here in the course the word uses the word it is destined. So it does not present itself in the certitude of consciousness here, that over mind, vital and physical, still at the play of the forces have been worked out in certain point at which the descent not only is but appears it is inevitable. Certain type of resistance is there, certain type of checkup is there, still then you must be sure, everyone must be sure that it is inevitable, it is going to happen. The descent of supermind is a long process, they are not easily going to happen overnight. So it is a long process, or at least a process with long preparation. Process is long, preparation is also long, and one can only say that work is going on sometimes in a strong pressure from the completion, sometimes retarded by the things from the that rises from below. Sometimes it is hampered, sometimes it is checked, sometimes it is resisted from the lower forces. But finally, it may take some time. If everything is ready, then there will be very much clearance for this supramental descent. But anyways, when Sri Aurobindo has quoted, it must happen. There is no other, because he is the seer, he is the vision, he has seen already, he has visioned the things. Thing is that initially, of course, this initial resistance, it is also gone, because things when Sri Aurobindo answered the questions or answered our queries, by after that period, almost 100 years gone. So that is actually it has thinned and false. So resistance has got no value, no meaning. But anyway, it is happening. The thing is that we are facing in the process. That is what happening. So again, steer in the course beautifully, naturally, release from the subconscious ignorance and from disease. Two, three, four things are there. Release from the subconscious ignorance, from disease, duration of life at will, and the change in the functioning of the body must be among the ultimate results of the supramental change. What are the change it is going to happen when really this descent is at all possible? Here in the course, naturally, the release from the subconscious ignorance, that will be the very first value. And from disease, there will be no disease, they will be released. Duration of life at will duration of life, you are not under compulsion of this unnatural process. And change of functioning of the body, that is going to happen. And again here in the course, with the all that these results out of the supramental change. But the details of the things must be left to the supramental energy to work according to the truth of its own nature. So these are the things, it is visible to the naked eye, that is actually seen. But many things are going to change later through the process of time. It is up to the supramental energy to work according to the truth of its own nature. So again, the eternal progression is the manifestation, and beyond it there is no progression. Very deeply and very functionally Sri Aurobindo has quoted. Anyway, we'll go a little bit ahead. Everything will soon be spiritualized, this idea, and to it is absurd. Everything will soon be spiritualized, it is an absurd. The descent of the supramental means only that the power will be there in the earth consciousness as the living force, just as the thinking mental and higher mental already there. Yeah, it is there, that is also there, but immediately this descent and this ascel, with this ascel, everything will soon get spiritualized. That is a fake term, absurd term, that's what's here in the course. But the animal can take advantage of the presence of the mental power, or the undeveloped man also of the presence of this higher mental play. So these are undeveloped or animal, they are least aware, least conscious, and the least prone to change. So everybody will not be able to take advantage of the supramental power and its presence. So then again Sri Aurobindo, only there will be the growing influence on it in the earthly life. There must be pressure, there must be growing influence, so that things are going to change, but thing is that not that much easy. Against your in the quotes, nothing permanent can be done without the real supramental force. Very interestingly, very clarity, with so much clarity, in a clear thought ideologist, Aurobindo quoted, nothing permanent can be done without the real supramental. Nothing permanent. Something you can vision, something you see in your vision, something you can realize, but to be something permanent. The really it is with the supramental force. But the result of the descent would be that a human life, in human life, intuition will become greater and more developed force. Intuition that will play a greater and developed force than it is now here is. So intuition will be expanded, and it will be wider. The other immediate powers between mind and supermind will become more common and develop in the organized action. Again, we are going to quote Sri Aurobindo again. The divine, as the Gita says, has nothing to gain and nothing that has not. As it we have considered, and we are taking considering Gita, divine, as the Gita says, has nothing to gain, number one, nothing that has not, and yet puts forth the power of action in the manifestation. So he divine puts the power of action into the manifestation. It is the earth consciousness and not the supramental world. It is the earth consciousness and not the supramental world that is going to gain by the descent of the supramental principle. So just imagine entirely this earth consciousness with this manifestation ourselves and the descent of the supramental force, this principle, this earth nature, earth consciousness is going to be benefited. So it is sufficient reason for it to descend. The supramental worlds remain as they are. It was there, it is there, and it will be there. There will be no such change, and there is no way affected by the descent. With the descent of the supramental force, there will be no more change in the supramental worlds. Again, the descent of the supermind would not be necessarily known by everybody beforehand. The greatest moments are least noisy. The supramental descent does not come with the beating of the drums. So beforehand, it will be necessarily not be known by everybody. To a few, not to all. Besides, even if the descent were there, one would be already there before to get the final change. Again, it is the supramind we have to bring down. What is our role? We have to bring down, manifest, and realize. These are the three things we must be able, and we have to do it. One, we have to bring down. Second, we have to manifest. Then we have to realize. Anything, however, higher than that is impossible at this stage of evolution, because evolution, our consciousness, our idea, our limitation, it is everything with here, and except the reflection of the consciousness or a power delegated and modified with the descent. Against here in the quotes beautifully, there are three powers in the cosmos which all things are subject. One is creation, another is preservation, and one is destruction. Three, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar, in the respectively they are in charge. Whatever the created lasts at for time, creation, whatever is created, it will last for some time. The begin to crumble down, then it will begin to crumble down. The taking away of the power of destruction implies the creation will not be destroyed, and at last develop always. So Sri Aurobindo tries to explain what has been created, it will remain, and after birth, both saturation, decay, death, then it will start. Again, in the beautiful sentence Sri Aurobindo quoted, in the ignorance, destruction is necessary for the progress. In ignorance, destruction is necessary for progress. In the knowledge and the truth creation, the law of that constant unfolding without the pralaya. So it is 1,000,000 descents will never come down, can come down and make no difference if there is little bit of ego. People on the physical mind, if they stay and they remain in physical combined, then million descents will never make any difference for the ego. And Sri Aurobindo coming down, as course, the supermind coming down on the earth will change nothing in man if he clings to the ego. So we know and we see, we have to be very carefully, very interestingly, Sri Aurobindo, supermind is superman. Supermind is something beyond the mental man and his limits. Truth in the supermind is self-existent and of course self-found. So we have to be get rid of ego. Power becomes comes inevitably by the supramental change. It is the necessary condition. First condition to get rid of ego. Then ascent. A supramental ego is the simultaneously ascent to the ascent and simultaneously it is a descent. A vast universality of the soul, intense unity with all, and that is the fixed base and fixed condition for the supramental consciousness and the spiritual life. It is at once ascent towards the God and a descent of Godhead into the spiritual embodied nature. Thank you, Vande Mataram.